card is the best.
I can only play one more game though, then I have to go to work.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That sucks.
I wish I could play Nintendo for work.
Well, yeah, I wonder what it'd be like to work at Nintendo.
Huh.
I wonder what that would be like. Oh my gosh, I'm so nervous for my first day to work at Nintendo.
Welcome to Nintendo, Jess.
Hello.
Today we're going to show you just a tour of the facility, and then we'll get more into what you're going to be doing. My name is Princess Daisy.
Hi, nice
Great
to
to
meet
meet
you.
you. Come right in. Okay, so here's our first facility. We just want you to watch the training video. So just have a seat right here, and we'll watch the video together.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, here we are.
What would Video Game History Month be without celebrating the career of Nintendo's Shigeru Miyamoto, the creative mind behind some of gaming's most beloved characters and franchises, ranging from Mario and Zelda to Donkey Kong and those delightful Pikmin. And to think, none of it might have ever happened if it wasn't for the spectacular failure of a Nintendo arcade game named Radar Scope. Released in 1980, Radar Scope was a shooter similar to that of Taito's Space Invaders, and while it was popular in Japan, it failed to catch on in North America, and Nintendo of America was left with thousands of unsold units. Then Nintendo president Hiroshi Yamauchi tasked Miyamoto, working as a graphic and packaging designer at the time, with recoding Radar Scope into something more appealing to the worldwide audience. Upon witnessing the success of Pac-Man and the emergence of side-scrolling games, Miyamoto came up with a final plan for a game that involved the popular cartoon character Popeye, since Nintendo was a licensee of the property. However, even though Miyamoto received final approval to move forward on the game, Nintendo learned that it was not allowed to move forward on the project due to licensing issues. Miyamoto and his mentor Gunpei Yokoi scrambled to salvage the project and reworked it into something that wouldn't require a license but would retain some of the same gameplay concepts. As a result, Donkey Kong and his protagonist Jumpman were born, and Nintendo had a huge hit on its hands. Of course, it wasn't until 1983 that we would come to know Jumpman as Mario when he appeared in another game called Mario Brothers. Influenced by manga artists at the time, Miyamoto sought using the same character across multiple projects, and so Mario was a logical choice for a new game. But there were issues in deciding exactly what he could do. Yokai suggested that Mario be able to jump and hit the floor beneath enemies to defeat them, but Miyamoto discovered that this made the game too easy. As a result, they added an extra qualifier for defeating enemies. Not only would players hit them from underneath, but they would also have to run up and kick them. These mechanics and even the characters eventually became the foundation for the Mario games that followed, including the incredibly popular Super Mario Bros., which became a premier game on Nintendo's then new Nintendo Entertainment System. Mario went on to star in dozens of other games over the years, including new games in the Super Mario Bros. Series, as well as games like Mario Kart, Paper Mario, and more recently, Super Mario Galaxy. Miyamoto parlayed his success with Mario into other projects, perhaps none more notable than the Legend of Zelda series. Said to be inspired by his adventures in Kyoto as a child, the Legend of Zelda series remains as one of gaming's most prominent franchises thanks in large part to Miyamoto's expertise in crafting sublime gameplay mechanics and intertwining them with rich worlds and endearing characters. While Miyamoto would go on to create several other prominent games over the course of his career, these days he has less hands-on involvement in the day-to-day work of creating games at Nintendo, but his perspective on what makes a game great is still a large part of Nintendo's methodology. If anything, his position as manager of Nintendo's EAD division has allowed him to instill his philosophy to a whole new generation of game designers at the company. But as any fan can probably tell you, his influence extends beyond the walls of Nintendo to an entire world of game creators and players that have been thoroughly entertained by his work throughout the years.
So I'm really interested in what they've been telling me so far, but that gorilla in the corner is really starting to freak me out.
So that was a clip from Nintendo History Month, all about Nintendo's characters. Now I'd like to show you all about Nintendo's products. Nintendo's first gaming system was the Nintendo Entertainment System, released in 1985. This was one of the first inventions to allow people to bring games into their homes and sold over 60 billion systems during its prime. Their next release was the Game Boy, arguably one of the most successful gaming systems of all time. The Game Boy was based around the video game Tetris when it was first released and offered a portable gaming system that could fit into your pocket. Nintendo's Game Boy sold over 150 million systems worldwide. The original Game Boy had only 4 shades of gray for the graphics, but the system was eventually developed to offer color images. Nintendo has also since revitalized the system so that it has a bigger screen, better graphics, and a lighter body. The most recent version of the Game Boy is the Nintendo DS, which has 2 screens instead of 1 and offers Wi-Fi capabilities. The next major release for Nintendo after the Game Boy was the Nintendo 64, which was released in 1996 and offered 3D graphics. This system was revitalized further with the release of the Nintendo GameCube in 2001, which offered better graphics and gameplay. Finally, the most recent major release for Nintendo has been the Nintendo Wii. With a wireless motion sensor remote control instead of the traditional wired control, the Nintendo Wii revolutionized the video game industry. Nintendo Wii games have allowed the player to be completely immersed in the gaming experience and have been used to promote health and fitness through the use of full-body movements within the game. And those were all of Nintendo's products. Do you have any questions?
No, I don't think so. That was really interesting. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Nintendo is great. Well, now we're going to go see some of our developers, so come on right this way. All right, after you. This is Mario.
I'm a Mario.
This is Luigi.
I'm a Luigi.
Nice to meet you.
Well, I'm going to leave you all to get acquainted and just talk, but you guys have fun.
All right, thanks, Casey.
Bye.
Can't believe I'm meeting Mario and Luigi. I have loved them since I was a little kid, and now I get to meet them in person.
So can you guys tell me a little bit about how you came up with your video games?
Miyamoto uses his own personal life to develop his games. It's almost like an autobiography through video games. And that's like his dog. Oh, I've been meaning to shave this off anyways. Anyways, but what happens is a video dog, you take care of it, you groom it, you pet it. It's like a personal relationship. Now, the other thing is, we use different types of creativity processes.
Okay, like what?
Well, because of the camera, we can't really say, but we use things like the random input, or we could use this. Or we could use the stepping stone method.
I don't know what those are. What is
Well, take the random input technique. This is where you take a random word and then associate it with another word, say like touch, and then you go on to fitness, and then you go on to Wii Fitness. This is how it works, or how it could work.
All right, very cool. So why do you think Nintendo's been so successful so far?
Well, our games span across so many different generations. Kids and their parents can play these games alike. Take the Mario Galaxy. You can play with your friends, you go off and you shoot the stars, everybody happy. We want our people to be social.
That's really cool. So how do you develop these games?
Well, unlike the other people, we use the blue ocean strategy. This is where we go and push the boundaries, as opposed to people making like the Xbox, we make the Call of Duty and the shooting. We push and push the edge of the envelope and make like my Luigi was talking about with the dog game and stuff like that, and really push the boundary of the gaming industry.
So what brought you here to Nintendo?
Well, I actually took part in the Nintendo Game Seminar last year. So I spent a whole year learning about game development from people who actually work at Nintendo. I actually think I met you there briefly. And so that was a really cool way for me to get to know people at Nintendo and also meet a bunch of young game developers in the industry.
So what's your favorite game here at Nintendo?
My favorite game of all time is Mario Party because everyone can play it and you can play it for hours and it's awesome.
So what do you like about Nintendo?
I love the games and everyone I've met so far has been really nice.
So I didn't want to sound like too much of a suck up, but what I really like about Nintendo is their emphasis on creativity over technology. Miyamoto has really made it part of his mission to make sure that Nintendo focuses more on making games that are unique and fun to play rather than, you know, the best in graphics, and sometimes that might make the industry or set them apart in the industry. But I think it's in the best way possible because they've really been innovative and been able to stay in the industry for a long time.
So now we're going to take you to the Wii Sports development area, okay? Okay, let's go.
Sorry, hi guys. Hi, come on over.
Oh, sorry, I just wanted to hear a little bit more about Wii Sports and fitness.
Of course, yeah. Have a seat. I'll take a water break. Well,
So the Wii is completely different from anything that Nintendo has made before. Can you tell me a little bit about how it was developed?
sure. Well, Nintendo was losing market share, and they were trying to beat their competitors of Microsoft and Sony. And their competitors were mostly focusing on incremental innovation, so they were just looking at maybe better graphics or faster. And so Nintendo knew that if they just did that, that it wouldn't put them past their competitors, so they looked for something completely different. And they noticed that their remote hadn't been changed since the NES. So they tried to develop a new remote, and in order to do that, they knew they would have to change the entire gaming system. And during that, they decided, or they saw that there were two trends in video games, and that the younger audiences were growing up, getting families and jobs, and stopped playing video games. And the second trend was that they were getting really expensive when they started to add in all the new technology, that not a lot of people could afford these systems anymore. And when they were looking to develop the new game, it developed into the DS, which was the next step after the Game Boy. And that had a different screen, and they used that innovation in their Wii by making Nintendo completely different. They wanted something that the whole family could enjoy, and they wanted it to be sleek and sophisticated, and not like the colorful GameCube. So that's why they went with the white. And they also wanted something that was small, so that you would feel safe leaving that on your television. And by making something inexpensive, they went with a lower quality chip so that more people could afford it. And so the CEO just wanted something that would bring the entire family together, and he saw that in Wii.
Very cool. So what you're saying is Nintendo used creativity to go after a differentiation and a low-cost strategy?
That's very true.
So I heard about the Wii U. Is that the same thing as the regular Wii?
Oh, no. Completely different. Nintendo, again, sought more innovation, and Iwata, the CEO, wanted something that would be, he saw the importance of the television in the family and how it was this central hub, and that there were so many things plugged into it now that it conveyed a lot of information. And he looked at his Wii and saw that, okay, it has the illumination light that tells you have a message, but that's all. And so he thought maybe it could have a screen so it could just display more information. And so that's why they thought of the Wii U, which is actually almost like a DS remote. So you can watch the video game on the remote screen as well as on the television screen.
So instead of having the regular, because they have the rectangle remotes now, it would be an actual handheld screen that you would use?
Correct.
So could you keep playing then? Or would it be like your own game?
You can. You can even turn off the TV and continue to play it while the TV's off, or if someone's watching the television, like a fun show, they can watch and you can keep playing your game.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, and it also adds strategy too, because if we're playing against each other with our screens, I can see information that you can't. It's really cool because the designers always keep in mind the customers and how to add more value to their experience.
It's really interesting.
Any other questions?
No, I think you did a really good job explaining it. Thank you.
You're welcome. I think Daisy wants to see you now. Oh, hey Jess.
Hi.
How was your day?
It was really, really good.
Oh, good. So you learned anything?
Yeah, I really learned a lot about how Nintendo incorporates creativity into every part of their organization.
Mhm.
It really seemed like when I talked to Mario and Luigi, and they said I know, such sweet guys, talking about how they might use different creativity techniques, but either way, they just make it a part of their everyday culture. And it sounds like Miyamoto really encourages his workers to draw from their everyday experiences and, do the whole subconscious creativity type thing to come up with new ideas and make sure Nintendo stays innovative.
He is a great guy.
Really.
I'm so glad you learned how important that creativity is to Nintendo. That was actually the point of this whole day. But before you leave for the day, we have something for you. Now you're officially a part of the Nintendo family. Here's your uniform. It fits perfect! Jess, you're not even moving. Come on.
Oh my gosh,
What are
sorry.
you doing?
I was just daydreaming a little. I'm sorry, guys.
About what?
important, but I think we're gonna go fill out some job applications after this.
Whatever, I'm winning.